What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 991.2 Porsche 911 GT3. Big shout out and thank you to 704 Exotics for providing this blue sapphire, beautiful dream spec GT3 for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below for really awesome pre-owned supercars. This is a car that I'm a huge fan of. This is my spec, absolutely what I would buy. Let's go ahead and dive right into the GT3. Powering the 991.2 Porsche 911 GT3 is a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat 6 engine. It's pumping out 500 horsepower with 339 pound-feet of torque. Of course, this is a rear-mounted engine. It's paired to a 7-speed PDK dual-clutch automatic transmission, sending all of the power to the rear wheels. With a curb weight around 3,100 pounds, you're looking at 0 to 60 time in 3.1 seconds, top speed at 197 miles per hour, and it'll do a quarter mile in 11.1 seconds at 125 miles an hour. It also runs on a 16.9 gallon fuel tank, so you can expect 15 miles per gallon in the city with 20 out on the highway. The overall length is 179.6 inches with a wheelbase at 96.7, width is 72.9, and height is 50 inches. And now moving on to the exterior styling with the GT3, the blue sapphire paint is a beautiful color. It really contrasts perfectly to the shape and style. You're going to see the LED headlights up front with that traditional round design. They also have LED daytime running lights and the washer up in front. You can see how the front bumper protrudes forward. We get a nice vent in the upper portion of the bumper, and then a massive opening down below to allow massive amounts of cooling. We have a radiator piece in the back with more mesh, LED light down below with a nice dark trim piece, and a pretty large plastic colored front splitter. You can also see ducts up in front of the bumper to allow a ton of airflow into the car to cool everything down. And it has that traditional Porsche design. Unmistakably beautiful looking car, of course. You see the Porsche crest on the front portion of the trunk lid, and very smooth lines fading towards that windshield. As we make our way to the side profile, you can see how that front splitter is going to protrude outwards and up towards the front wheels. We also get center lock wheels. They're 20-inch diameter, a nice split spoke, and you're also going to see the slotted rotors and the red brake calipers. You get a very clean body line running around these front fenders. Your gas cap is up here as well, and you get a pretty nice design for that front fender that flows towards the headlight. The overall side profile, of course, has that unmistakable Porsche 911 design, and we have a very nice design, all black, around the windows. This car features body-colored mirror caps and body-colored door handles, and I love how smooth everything is on the side profile. You're not going to see any sharp lines or creases in the bodywork. It's just a super flowing, very beautifully designed car. Has a timeless look, and one of the nicest parts is the rear fender arches bulging outwards. It really gives this car a super wide appearance, and you can also see a nice trim piece back here with more mesh and a set of LED taillights. You're also going to see the massive rear-mounted deck lid spoiler up on top with some satin black accents, and you have these huge intake ducts just to allow some cooling into that engine. You can also see the 4-liter badge on the underside and a really nice contrast and contour to the whole shape of it. Down below we get more of that plastic color for the rear diffuser, center-mounted dual exhaust with gloss black tips, then of course all your blacked out badging right in the center. The rear end comes together so nicely. Really can't find a bad angle on a GT3. Absolutely a beautifully shaped car. And then now taking a look at Porsche's key, we have our front trunk button, lock and unlock, and a nice Porsche crest, and of course the traditional body shape. So going ahead and unlocking the car, all you have to do is grab the door handle, gently lift that up. We can take a look at this leather interior. This particular spec has a nice contrast with leather and alcantara, and then light gray stitching. Moving to the door panel now, we get really nice smooth black leather up on top with your stitching, an aluminum trim piece, aluminum on the release handle, then all your window controls as well as the mirror controls. You get nice black alcantara all along the insert and grab handle with more contrast stitching, a little bit of a storage area that'll pop outwards, more storage up in front, and a Bose audio system. This has GT3 written on the door sill, your front trunk, as well as the rear hatch opening, and this one even has all the power controls on the seats. Nice option to see for sure on a track focus car. You can see the smooth black leather with all the stitching and the beautiful black alcantara making its way all throughout these seats. These are nice sport seats, however insanely comfortable, and then we get GT3 up on the headrest. Spinning around, we get a very nice black leather steering wheel finished off in dark colored. And then now inside the GT3, keeping my foot on the brake. We've already inserted the key. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, we have an analog tach right in the center with that 9,000 RPM redline. We have a speedometer on the left, some vitals on the far left side, a small screen in the center, and then a few more vitals on the right with your gas. The screen on the right, you can configure it using this stalk on the bottom right of the steering wheel. And in here, you can easily just go back, cycle down, and see some trip information, TPMS. You also get the sport chrono, of course a G-force meter, and then some performance aspects with the vehicle vitals. So it's nice to see just a few things that'll pop up in here, even with a nice little navigation screen. The steering wheel itself, we have some nice contrast stitching, the dark color all around it. You can see the stalk on the far right. We have the other one up on top for windshield wipers, turn signal on the left with cruise control underneath that, and a really nice set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. On the left side of the steering wheel, you can see all of your headlight controls, a nice air vent with more of the leather as well as aluminum. There's all black leather on the dashboard. We also have the clock up on top. And then on this far right side, if we open this up, we have our very nice cup holders that are gonna pop outwards. So a really cool way to have cup holders in such a performance-focused supercar. And then of course, they just tuck back in. You can see more alcantara all along the bottom side of the glove box, which does have actually quite a lot of storage space. Air vents in the center, and then a navigation screen. Now controlling this, we have a lot of the shortcuts down below, just like in any Audi or Porsche vehicle. We have our map shortcut, the navigation, route guidance, of course. In the car, you can see a few different things. This is touchscreen as well. You have a lot of information for that. Home screen, you can see all of the basic shortcuts. So pretty simple in here. However, it's actually pretty up to date for being the previous generation car. More audio controls as well. And then going into reverse, you're gonna see that backup camera popping up with some guidelines. Down below, you're gonna see all of our climate control settings. We do have dual zone temperature. You can easily adjust that. Fan speed is right in the center as well. Recirc, different defrosters, and all of your zones. We have our gear selector in the center, really nice flat black color, and then our hazard control and all the performance buttons. We have the PDK Sport for your transmission, suspension as well as traction control, front end lift, and then your exhaust valve. And down below that, we can open this up and we have a little lighter in there. We have more alcantara along the center. You get a little bit of storage in here and what might even be wireless phone charging. And one last look at the interior. Very nice place to be for sure. Full alcantara headliner. And then moving to the rear storage area, the GT3 is not gonna have rear seats at all, so you just get quite a lot of storage space in here. There's a little cubby in the center, GT3 and alcantara, and you can see a nice storage shelf up above that. From here, you can go ahead and lift the front area, and by just walking up to the front, we can find the latch underneath, and then opening this up, we actually have a pretty usable trunk in here. Could definitely fit quite a few backpacks, and honestly 2 people can use the GT3 as a road trip car. So overall, for being a supercar with supercar performance, this is actually pretty practical. So setting off now in the GT3, the cool thing with this car, it honestly can tone down to feel like a pretty normal daily driver. I mean, all the conservative drive modes and everything, and it feels really normal. It's super comfortable to sit here. Just slowly accelerating, letting the car do everything. It is really easy to drive. You have a great view out the windshield. The windows are huge, so much visibility. Good rear view as well. Only thing you're gonna notice looking at the spoiler through that glass there, it is definitely taking up a little bit of space. So that's the only thing you may notice with the GT3. That wing is definitely pretty big, but normal driving, the creature comforts are so easy. It really is a daily drivable supercar. It is a nice, comfortable seat. There's good padding. While they're supportive and actually really stiff, they are perfectly designed to where I just fit so nicely into this car. And then from here, we go into all the fun modes, manual mode, and after we get through some of this construction, it is so nice how the paddle shifters are responsive, and this shifter is in a really good place to where it's kind of right where you want it to use this as a shifter or the paddles. So it's a really cool blend with this car. It just feels like the perfect supercar and yet a perfect daily driver. And even in the stiff suspension mode and everything, it still is perfectly fine on the road. And then the steering in the GT3, you can tell it is like a little go-kart. Being rear engine, you know, the most of the weight is in the back. It is just so precise. Gosh, that transmission is insane. We hit speed so quickly. It's not crazy fast the way this car is designed. Obviously it's not a turbo or a turbo S or anything, but you can just tell there's so much to give with the engine. It just wants to scream. Man, it sounds so good in here too. It's a nice place to be. And then the tech, while being kind of an older car now, it's easy to use and just does everything you want. Handling is definitely really good. Obviously this is nothing compared to what this car can do, but when you take a turn in this car, it just does exactly what you want, and those brakes will bring you down to a slow speed just as quickly. All right, one last acceleration. Handles so well. Gosh, you literally can just rip this car around. It is so well done. All right, so turning around to my perspective. There is something about a naturally aspirated flat six. This car is addicting to drive. Gosh, it is so responsive too. You let off the throttle, the car kind of jolts you because there's no power now. Like, it's so precise with whatever you do, this car does it. And it does it so darn well. It sounds incredible. Handling is so good. Man, this is a car, like, almost no words. There's such precision, such perfection to a GT3. And possibly my favorite aspect, when you tone it down, I would have absolutely no issue with this being my only car daily driving. I really like these seats too. Of course, you can get the carbon bucket seats, you know, all manual controls. They're a little aggressive, not gonna lie. These seats are basically the comfort, the standard seats, and they have all the power controls. So I am so perfect. Like, the way it's designed, you are so supported to where I could go all day in this seat, honestly. The view out, everything around, just being in this car, it is a great place to be for normal stuff. And then you have these supercar aspects to where it craves just revving out to 9,000. We can only do so much on the public streets with this car, unfortunately. Oh my gosh. That was only 6,000 RPM. Like, oh, this thing craves just being on the track, letting loose. This is a car I would honestly love to buy. I'm curious, for those of you who do own GT3s, on a personal question, what do you guys think of the 991 versus this one? This one now has the 4-liter. What do you think of the 3.8-liter? There's around a $40,000 price difference on the used market. A car like this is going for in the 170s. A 991 is going to go for around the 120s. So a big price difference, and I've been considering a 991 for a little while just because this is so much car for the money. You get a little bit less power with the other engine, but this car is just so good. I don't think I have any complaints. Obviously, it doesn't have the most up-to-date technology compared to a 992, but you still got touchscreen, all the basic things that you're going to want to do in any modern car. You know, you can hook up your phone like normal and use it like a normal car in today's modern world. So I like how this car, having that more old school raw feeling, it still does give you such a usable modern vehicle at the end of the day. Oh man. And I love the hand shifter down here. It's a cool blend to where sometimes you kind of want to use this. It makes you feel almost like a manual. And it's so quick and so responsive. Man, this car is so good. It really is a good blend. And I feel like this is the supercar you get if you don't want the Lambo, the McLaren, the Ferrari that's a little too flashy. This probably flies under the radar. It looks like a Porsche, which is a good and bad thing. I mean, it doesn't look crazy out there. However, car people who know what this is, like to me when I see this, especially in this color, my jaws dropped. This is so beautiful of a car. And I wasn't a Porsche fan for most of my life, only the last few years when I first experienced a GT3. And now these are some of my favorite cars out there because you can fly under the radar, be kind of like you're in a normal car, but at the end of the day, you're in a true supercar that's just as cool as a Huracan, honestly, or a 458. Man, this car, we have one more acceleration and then we'll head on back. Might have to put this on the short list to hurry up and get. This thing is awesome. Unfortunately, I think that is then it for the 991.2 Porsche 911 GT3. One of the best supercars out there, and honestly for the price, I don't even bat an eye. This thing is so well worth it. A 991, of course, will save you a couple bucks. And 992, double the price. So you got a pretty cool spectrum of GT3s out there in the modern world. This is something to get. Check out 704 Exotics. Big shout out to them for lending this insane car for today's video. I drove by and my jaw dropped. I had to film it. Awesome people there. They do a lot of fun car shows too and a lot of cool events, so definitely check them out. If you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content. And I'll see you all in the next video.